Hey everybody, how's it going? I am Jeremy K. Gover. Sorry, a little bit of a technological issue there for just a second. When we start, welcome into Sanctuary Stories, a look into Project Chimps, a sanctuary for former research lab chimpanzees. I'm Jeremy K. Gover, marketing manager of Project Chimps. My co-host is usually with me, Brandon Bump, donor relations coordinator and former chimp care staff here at the sanctuary. He's hosting the lunch launch today, which we're hoping to pull up at the camera here in 1 second for that. And every other week we give you a live look inside the habitat here at Project Chimps. We got some amazing chimps out there today, and we're hoping to be able to show you that here in a second with a good view. Again, tech issues here right to start the show, of course. There we go. All right, let me start over here. Every other week we give you a live look inside one of the 3 habitats here on YouTube, answering your questions in the live chat whenever possible and giving you insight on the chimps as well. We are thrilled that you've joined us today. We're not thrilled about the technological issues, however, but we are thrilled that you've joined us today. Before we get into things here, right off the top, we need to pass on our thoughts and prayers to Dr. Jane Goodall and everyone who was inspired by her, which is just about all of us, right? She passed away earlier this week at the age of 91 years old. And man, if only each one of us could affect the world as positively as she did, the world would be a lot better place. She'll be greatly missed, but her impact will live on, obviously, in many, many parts of the world. All things animal, all things ape, all things primates, all things adventure and exploring, and all things scientific as well. So one of those impacts, though, is us here at Project Chimps. Okay, we're located in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Georgia, where 101 former research lab chimpanzees call home. You can see the south habitat in the viewing window right now. And the group that's out there right now is Chateau B, I believe. I'll double check that for you. But if you don't know, we have 5 buildings, 6 villas here at Project Chimps. We have Harmony, DJT, Chimps Ahoy, Cedar Tree, and Chateaus A and B. Chateau B is just one side of Chateau. It's a massive, massive building with 2 villas inside of it. Chateau B, the residents are Prince is the current alpha of that group. You have Kate, Muddy, Thomas, birthday boys Kevin and Keith, Sasha, Paul, Bobby. I don't know why I do that every single time. Bobby, Dawn, Melanie, Zach, Jesse, Naya, Babette, Vicky, Manetta, Lancelot, and Scott. It's a big group. I believe 19 chimpanzees are the names that I went through there. But again, we have 6 villas on site, each one of them with access to the habitat, and the one that you're looking at right now for the lunch launch that is either happening right now or will be happening any moment is with Chateau B. And again, I'll have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure I saw Sasha out there earlier. I may be wrong on that. Either way, just a reminder: if you have a question, please put it in the live chat on YouTube, and we will try to answer it here for you today. It's going to be a short stream, probably 20, 25, maybe 30 minutes today, as usual, but we're going to try to get through a lot of information because Tuesday, coming up this Tuesday, a few days away, is Giving Day for Apes. Giving Day for Apes is a worldwide competition where primate sanctuaries and rescue groups and all the accredited organizations compete basically for fundraising dollars. It's our biggest fundraiser of the calendar year, of course. And, we're competing in the North America division. So the sanctuaries in North America, we all try to raise more money than the other one. And all that is it's kind of a, rising tides lifts all ships type of deal. And we obviously want to win. But at the end of the day, we are, concerned about the chimpanzees that we have, the 101 that we have here at Project Chimps. And it's a tremendous, tremendous day and time of year every single year. This is my 3rd time going through it, and it's always amazing to hear the stories that come out. It's always amazing to hear from the caregivers who tell the stories. This specific year, we are focusing on the 6 new males that we got from the lab this summer. The 6 males are, if I can remember them offhand, I don't have this written in front of me, but I'm pretty sure it's Adam, Bozo, Orpheus, Johnny, Tony, and oh my God, I can't remember. That's gonna make me mad. I'll remember here in a second. The point is that 6 new males came to join us from the lab to Sanctuary. They are now being integrated and introduced to the current Chimps Ahoy group, and that group is led by Kirk. And it's just again, hear those stories, all the time of getting updates from Chimp Care about how they're doing, what the introduction process is like, for how they're doing with each other, how they're being introduced to the alpha, and then the trickle down effect from that, who likes each other, who was flirting through the mesh back and forth, and now that they've met and they're playing, and it's a pretty phenomenal experience. You got to follow along over at projectchimps.org in order to do that, and of course our social media channels. On when Giving Day, the early giving period opened last month, we dropped a video of their transport from basically them loading up at the lab and coming to Sanctuary, and what that process is like. Our amazing friends over at Georgia Public Broadcasting did an incredible video featuring our behavior coordinator, Chris Dyer, and what the introduction process is like. And that came out earlier this week, late last week. And you can see that on our social channels as well. And then on this Tuesday, which is Giving Day for Apes, we've got quite a surprise for you as far as video content goes. So please, please, please subscribe. To all of our social media channels, Facebook, Instagram. Obviously here on YouTube, click that subscribe button, and let's really hit a home run this year. I think we're going to. And again, it's all about the chimpanzees and the care staff, obviously, that cares for them. So you'll see some activity here in the Peachtree habitat. So you've got a chimp over here by the perimeter wall here. You got another one over here who's hanging out, probably getting ready for the lunch launch is my guess, because usually when there's a lunch launch, there is some activity as far as chimps getting ready. They know what's happening. They see the Chimp Care, bring out the big bins of vegetables, and they're like, okay, today's the day, right? They get real excited about it. So yeah, it's usually a flurry of activity, sometimes more than others, depending on the weather, but it looks like a beautiful day out there, obviously. So it looks like we should see some activity. You can see one climbing the structure right over the ladder, the little fire hose ladder over here up to this platform. Also, again, getting ready. I think there's another one actually right there on the other side of the tree, actually. So you got a couple chimps over here in this tree getting ready to enjoy their fall day. I hope it's very, very comfortable and nice where you are. For those who don't know what a lunch launch is a upgrade that you can get if you book a private tour with a Sanctuary. Then you can tour the facility, obviously, and kind of see the habitats and the chimps and all those things, and where how the villas and how we do business, and the vet clinic on site and the classroom and all these all the amazing things that we do in the Sanctuary. But if you upgrade to a lunch launch, you get to feed the chimps. And you're like, well, how does that work if you're a no-touch Sanctuary? Not even the caregivers, touch the chimps, right? So how does that work? How do you feed the chimps? Well, it's actually awesome because it's through 2 massive slingshots that are up on this platform that you see the camera on right now. There's a slingshot right over in this general area here where the platform is. So it's like right under where the camera is here. And then there's another one on this side on the far left over by this tree. So that allows 2 people to fling food, celery, beets, radishes are a big favorite, onions, cabbage. There's a lot of different, things that the chimps get, and they all get fed to them through the slingshot into the habitat. For those who are also wondering, okay, well, why do we feed them that way? It's because it's enriching to them, to be honest. So a chimp spends most of its life in the wild now. If they were wild chimps, spend most of their life foraging for food. Okay. And so we cannot just get them from the lab and take them back to Africa and put them in their, what would be their natural habitat and expect them to survive. It would not work, right? So our goal at Project Chimps as a sanctuary is to give them as close to what would be their natural life as possible. Okay. So with that being said, that's why there are enrichment toys. Like you can see these shells that come down here. We'll put, peanut butter or, like things like that in those shells, and they've got to, get them out of there. Again, the food that gets launched from the slingshot, it goes onto the ground. If there's nobody there to see it, eventually they will forage for it, and they'll find it that way. A chimp will go by and say, "Oh," and that'll encourage them to forage. Again, it just unlocks that natural instinct to do those things. You will actually see, if you're not talking about food at all, you'll actually see sometimes some chimps get 2, 3, 4, 5 of them in a row, usually males, but not always, and they'll do a patrol. So you'll see them walk in a single file around this wall here, or again around other walls in the sanctuary, right? And that's called patrol. If you've seen the docu-series, Chimp Empire, you know that chimps in the wild will patrol their territory. They'll okay, it's time to go on patrol, and all the males will get together again, usually, and then they'll, single file, just basically walk around with their territory is, so that way they can ensure there's no intruders or whatever the case is. This is an instinctual thing. Obviously, they are totally safe here from intruders, but that's what they do. So the point of saying all that is that chimpanzees they have instincts, they have natural tendencies, they have things that override their brain, right? To say, okay, this is what we have to do, and this is how we are as a species. So our sanctuary tries to set them up for that as much as possible. So the foraging for food, right, that comes into play. The enrichment, where you're trying to find stuff. So we have termite mounds, which hopefully, let's see if I can find one actually real quick. Sorry, let me go out of here. Sorry about this. And then I'm going to try to find a different camera. Here's a termite mound here. Let's try this one. So we have termite mounds placed throughout the sanctuary and the habitat, excuse me. And you can see that it's basically it's a man-made termite mound. It's not really a termite mound. A man-made termite mound. But in the wild, again, they would go to these termite mounds and they would take sticks, okay, big long sticks. They would find sticks and they would fish in the holes of the termite mounds. They'd pull out a bunch of termites and then they'd eat them. In this particular case, it's a man-made termite mound. So what you've got holes that are all throughout that. And the care staff in the morning, sometimes, not all the time, because again, you don't want it to be the same exact thing every day. Because that's not enriching, right? And that's not real enrichment. You want to make sure they're working their mind. So every once in a while, they'll pour in some sort of compote or jelly, peanut butter, things like that will go into those holes, and then you'll see chimps come out. Sometimes from the viewing window, which you can see right over here. There's a viewing window here, so when you're on a tour of the sanctuary, you can see, right to the termite mound, and sometimes you'll see chimps with a stick, and they're fishing and seeing what goodies are in there. So again, it's all in an attempt to replicate as best as possible what their habitat, what their natural habitat would be. I'm going to go back to the let's see. I'm going to go back to the lunch launch here because I hope that it's happening. Again, if you are just tuning in now, a lunch launch is, if this will work, give me 1 second. I'm so sorry. There you go. Lunch launch is food served to the chimps around this time, around lunch, into the habitat with 2 slingshots, and you can upgrade that on your tour if you book a private tour. Okay, again, so we talked about how Giving Day for Apes is Tuesday. Giving Day for Apes is our largest fundraising opportunity of the year. It's a concentrated opportunity in the sense that we are competing against other primate rescue organizations and sanctuaries and the accredited folks, we'll put it that way, our fellow accredited folks all across the world. But of course, our division is North American division. But either way, it's worldwide. It's pretty impressive to watch. And we would very much encourage, obviously, and your help. If you find it in your heart to give $5, that actually becomes $10 because we have a generous donor who has put up a match of $60,000. If we can raise $60,000 They will then cut a check for another 60, giving us 120,000 during Giving Day for Apes. So we very much hope, of course, to meet that goal. Oh, we get to refresh here. Give me 1 second. Again, sorry, technical issues here today on the show, because of course there are. We, I don't have my co-host because he's doing the lunch launch, and the technology is not being my friend. So we're gonna get through this as best we can. There we go. So this chimp actually over here, I don't recognize from this distance, of course, but she's been there a while. I think since I started the stream, actually. So no, it doesn't look like there's any launch activity just yet. You should notice you'll see food flying, and then some chimps running around, and usually that means that they're going to get that stuff. So reminder, if you have a question, please put it in the chat. Would really, really appreciate that. Dancing Shoes says R.I.P. Jane, and yes, could not. I mean, it's actually, let's do that. Questions are always welcome, but let's go ahead and talk about that. If you have, if Jane Goodall inspired you at all, please put that in. Please, put how she did in the chat. I know that I've known about her since I was a kid. Of course, you know, my son learns about her in school. My wife has been a teacher, an elementary school teacher, for 22 years, and she teaches about Jane Goodall every single year. There's a Jane Goodall module, like a week, and and she teaches about her. She actually reads the book Hope for Kareem, which is in our gift shop. It's all about our alpha Kareem of Harmony. He has had quite a life and been to different labs and all kinds of crazy stuff. And he still, really likes people. And it's quite amazing to witness his grace and demeanor despite all he's been through. I bring all that up to say that is all told in a child-friendly way in the book Hope for Kareem that is in our gift shop. You can find it online as well, but it's in our gift shop. And she reads that to her class every single year during the Jane Goodall time, right? So Jane Goodall was a treasure. She was a legend, and she is an immeasurable loss because of the amount of lives that she touched. Last thing I'll say about all that right now, anyway, is that we were able, as a sanctuary, we were lucky enough to go down to see her speak last September in Atlanta. I don't know how many people went. I'm going to guess 15 to 20 of us went down, and select care staff, the care staff that went, I think there was like 7, 8, or 9 of them. And they got to meet her before the show. And it was, I'm sure, I can't speak for them, of course, but I'm sure it was a life-changing moment for them to be able to meet their hero. And one of the reasons they are in animal care and chimp care specifically at 90 years old, I'm sure was just an absolute treasure and treat for all of them. So obviously our hearts go out to them, the chimp care, who not only got to meet them, but has been affected by them, inspired by her, affected by her. And again, that's mostly all of us, right? So we absolutely love Jane Goodall. We're actually having a candlelight vigil in her honor to honor her next Monday night. If you're in the Blue Ridge area, North Georgia, Chattanooga, even a worker in Atlanta, working at Zoo Atlanta or whatever, and just need a place to put that support, that pain or healing, we would love to offer that to you on Monday night at 6:30 p.m. at the Sanctuary in Morganton, Georgia. You can come on by and hold up a candle, and we'll share some stories, and we'll do all those things and remember the amazing life that was Jane Goodall. Okay, clearly you can see the lunch launch has started because there's chimp activity everywhere. I told you there would be, and that is what is happening. So let's see if I can find. Let's see. Sorry about this. Let's see. We'll just do. How about this one? Yeah, so you can see some chimps out there. You can see some food flying, and in fact, let's get rid of the thing there. You can see the full screen. Yeah, so there. Brandon Bump, my usual co-host on these things, he is organizing the lunch launch, and he's doing this right now. You can actually see the chimps out there. Food is flying into the habitat. They go by, they forage for it, and they just have a good old time picking up radishes and cabbage and onions and whatever else is on the menu for today. Again, the menu changes frequently. Okay, so it's not the same, because here's a fun fact for you. On Monday, let's just say, if you give the chimps radishes and beets every Monday, they will know that it is radish and beet day. So they will expect that. And if they're not big radish or beet fans, then they won't care. So they figure it out, is what I'm saying. So you can't have the same menu the same day. You can't have the same menu cycle. You have to change it up. So it's very, I don't know if it's random, but it's basically randomized in the sense that the chimps don't know what food they're going to get on any given day, but they obviously get a healthy helping of food. So they get breakfast in the morning, of course, and then they get lunch served this way. And for those wondering, by the way, the chimps that don't go outside, because we do get that question a lot, is do all the chimps go outside? And the answer is no, they don't. Some of them choose to not go outside. Again, we're a sanctuary, not a zoo. So because of that, they get to choose what they do. There's no, okay, well, hey, doors open, you got to go out here for now or whatever. It says that they get to choose. If they want to stay in the air conditioning, they can stay in the air conditioning. If they want during the winter, if they want to stay in the heat, they can stay in the heat. They don't have to go outside if they don't want. But in this particular case, you can see at least 5 or 6. Sorry, I see a 6th one up here. You can see 6 chimps out there. They're all hanging out. So they get lunch this way. And the ones that don't go outside, they still get their share of lunch as well. And then dinner time, of course, they all get their fair share as well. I will say, just as a complete aside, the chimp care staff is so incredible, because I'm fascinated by this. Every time I go to observe a meal service, is they'll give the chimps their, let's say they'll have, I don't know, I'm just going to make up, but they have 8 bananas. Okay. 8 bananas in their hand. Chimp care does. And they look and they go, okay, Lindsay. And then the Lindsay will come over to the mesh and they'll get the banana. Okay. And then, okay, Kirsten. And then Kirsten will come over and there's your banana. And Luke. And then here's your banana. And they know that if Luke comes back to the mesh and is like, hey, where's my banana? They'll be like, you already got yours. And it seems like a trivial thing, but when there's 19 chimps in a villa, for them to keep track of who got their food and who didn't, and who got their chimp chow and who didn't, and it's just absolutely fascinating. One piece of the fascinating story that is chimp care. So this part here, the chimp with the lunch launch, is always extremely fun to watch, but that is one of the more fascinating things that I've witnessed in my time with Project Chimps, is that in my 3 years, is because when you go and you witness all that stuff and they know, like, it's the back of their hand, who got food, who didn't, somebody circles back and says, well, I didn't get my food. And they know, yeah, you did, not to give them double or whatever. It's, and here's another one. It's related to that. They also know who likes to be fed certain ways, like an apple, for example, right? Okay. Well, your kid might like no skin on their apple. Your kid might just like to bite into it. No problem. Right. Whatever it is, they know, the chimp care knows, okay, Luke likes his cut into slices and Mooney likes hers whole, and Rusty likes his whole, but fed through a certain, but given to him through the hopper. And they have all that straight too. So it's absolutely mesmerizing to see chimp care work in that regard. And I think those are the kinds of things that don't get talked about very often, is the knowledge and the experience that they have with the chimps to be able to give them that kind of care in the way that those chimps want it to be done. Again, within reason, of course. Right? Okay, so we got some chimps here as we close out the show today. We got some chimps here on the platform, eating some delicious things. We got a chimp down here in the hammock who has decided to take in some shade while eating there, helping. You got another chimp out here waiting for more food. And then I think there's still one on the platform up here. But you can see every once in a while, you'll see things that kind of flakes go by the camera. That's because that was a fly. Flakes go by the camera because you'll see them. That's basically the remnants of, let's say, an onion peel or something, a lunch launch, off the slingshot there. So again, you can upgrade to a lunch launch. If you get a private tour of the sanctuary, you can upgrade to a lunch launch and get this experience yourself. And I'll tell you, I'm not trying to sell you on this necessarily. I'm giving you facts here. It is an unbeatable way to view the chimps. Unbeatable. We have the annex habitat, we call it the nest, where humans can look in and see all that. That's a game changer. Like, you can see obviously all the windows. Those are great, but without fail, the lunch launch is the best way to see the chimpanzees, the habitat, and all that goes into all that, because it's overhead looks for one, it's not obstructed for another, and again, they're just having a good old time, foraging for their food, grabbing a radish, whatever it may be. It's unbeatable. It's unbeatable. So if you're going to visit the Blue Ridge Mountains anytime soon, please consider booking a private tour. Of course, you can do that on our website at projectchimps.org, right here at the visit link as well, put it on the screen. And then, of course, you can upgrade to a lunch launch and have that absolute bucket list experience that you did not know you needed checked off your list. Last thing I'll say about that is, people think, oh, they're my family, we're vacationing in Blue Ridge next summer or whatever it is, and we'll do it then, and that's great. We love that, but I think people don't think about like a company retreat or a church group outing, or something like a Kiwanis group who's going to get together and wants to do some sort of team building. We can supply all that stuff for you guys. So if you just contact us at events@projectchimps.org, that's events@projectchimps.org, we can find all that stuff for you, and we can help your group out. Again, this is, if you want to get in the good graces of your office staff, let me tell you, there are worse ways to do that. This is an unforgettable experience that they will talk about for a long, long time. And again, I'm not trying to sell you on it. I'm just telling you facts. I've been on probably a dozen of these lunch launches, and every single time, every single person, raining or not, leaves with a gigantic smile on their face, tons of pictures, and they just can't stop talking about it. We've heard gotten emails months after somebody's done a lunch launch. Hey, my son is pretty reserved, and he has not stopped talking about that experience. Thank you so much for what you do. I mean, we've gotten these aplenty. And so at this point, I guess I'm trying to sell you on it. But the point is that if you are looking for a unique company outing, if you're looking for, again, a church group retreat, something like that, we can help you with that, and it will be unforgettable for your group. Again, you can visit us at projectchimps.org. Please like and subscribe. Giving Day for Apes is Tuesday. We'll have a special live stream with Executive Director Allie Crumpacker, who will be joining me for that. She's loads of info, way better than I could ever explain it. So get those questions ready. And that event is going to be up on our YouTube channel here within the next 5 minutes. So make sure you click that alarm bell so that way you can get alerted to it when it's live next Tuesday. Cannot wait for that one, because Giving Day for Apes is an amazing, amazing day for us here at the sanctuary, and for the 101 chimpanzees, even though they don't know about it. Like, they don't know what Giving Day for Apes is, but they certainly benefit from it. If you head to our website, projectchimps.org, and click on the hero image of Bozo there, you can learn all about the new 6 chimps who came to Sanctuary from the lab this summer. You can see their journey. And if you go visit our friends over at Georgia Public Broadcasting, you can see the video of their introductions to the existing group as well. Cannot thank you enough for joining us here today. Thank you for your tolerance and patience on the technological issues at the top of the show. This has been Sanctuary Stories, a bi-weekly live stream where we give you a live look at what's going on inside one of the habitats. This one in particular is South Habitat during lunch launch. Before you go, again, please click that like and subscribe button. And don't forget, Tuesday, October 7th, same chimp time, same chimp channel. For my usual co-host, Brandon Bump, who's actually organizing and hosting this lunch launch here, I'm Jeremy K. Gover. We will see you on Tuesday. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.